Everything is learnable with the right beliefs and how. This is how you're different. This is how you stand out and you're unique. You need to be doing some LinkedIn stuff for sure if you're selling to the corporate world.
How you doing?
Good. How are you, man?
I'm fine, perfect.
First off, Magic Alberto. What a name. I love it.
Oh yeah.
Alberto's part of my my Movement Makers program. So part of that is we do an IG live together. So what do you got, man? How can I help?
Well, you can help many ways. I've got first, like, just to tell you thank you for the book. Built to Self was amazing. It was one of the best books I ever read, to be honest.
Wow.
And absolutely, yeah, very good content, and it helped me a lot for all the work I had to do on my projects. So that's the great thing. So what can you help me? Basically, I've got a project to do a work on coaching, training people, mainly entrepreneurs and also like managers. And I'm going to start by trying to do first a YouTube channel, then after do the IG lives as much as possible. And I'm going to start by one thing I do, which is teaching like content on management and all the process of how to do do meetings, how to do sales, how to do to be able to have value and add value to people. So that's my main idea. But my main problematic about that is like to find a way to brand it somehow. Just like I've got the content because for many years I've been like a trainer, teacher for companies and also for university. And so now I'm just like saying, okay, I want to share to the maximum of people, make people be able to like overcome a bit like the sky glass, to be able to not be limited, overcome their own limitation. And so I would like to give a content, but I don't know how to brand it. That's the main issue.
And are you looking to brand the training or brand yourself?
I'm more brand myself.
Okay, great. So for Instagram, why did you call yourself Magic Alberto?
Oh, okay. So the reason I call myself Magic Alberto because it was a name that some of my friends gave me when I was at the university, because I was able to do several learnings. For example, I was studying law, but at the same time I was studying like philosophy. At the same time I was practicing martial arts. I was doing 2,000 things at the same time, which was not great at the end, but still like they find it, they thought amazing. I could do so many things and learn so many different things. And so they call me Magic because of that. That's the main reason.
And is that now what you help other people do?
Not really. Now what I help people do is mainly the opposite. It's like, because I managed to have like a lot of different type of skills, my idea is more to help the customizer help to one person depending on her need, to make her focus on the need, and then because I've got a toolbox that is quite large, then try to help them to find the proper tool or give them the proper tool.
I was thinking more in that somebody's coming to you, they're a leader, they're a manager, they want to improve their skills, they're feeling overwhelmed, they feel like they're not getting the training inside their own company, they don't know what to do next, they don't feel good enough, they're afraid of making a mistake and doing the wrong thing for the people on their team, and so they do nothing instead of doing something because they're afraid. You're going to help give them the ability to do it all. They're going to help give them the ability to be a good manager, be a good leader, get the skills they need, as well as continue to do their job and follow through on the things that they're supposed to do, right? Like I could see, I'm just playing with the whole Magic idea for a minute because I like that you named yourself, Magic on Instagram, because people will look at other leaders and other managers and say, how are they doing all of this? How are they able to do it? And I feel like I can't do anything. And then here's this person who's doing such a great job everywhere. You're helping them be the magician, make it look like magic, but it's all the training. Like what you were doing wasn't actually just magic before. It was more just you were able to learn quickly, pick up different skills quickly, and apply them to your life and to your situation. But to the outside world, it looked like magic. You know it's not magic, but to the outside world, it looked like magic, which is kind of what you're helping do for these managers. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of focus. It's using specific strategies and tactics to help them get there. But to the outside world, it looks like magic.
Okay, interesting.
So that's one. I mean, I only pick on that because that's what you called yourself on Instagram. So you already have it there, and you already have the personal story. Because the way to brand it is it's got to be a personal connection to you. So you have to be able to have a personal story to share. So that's one personal story that we might be able to pull from to say, hey, well, I call it this because I want the people around you to think that what you're doing is magic. I want your bosses and your team to see you as this person who's just doing these things that don't seem possible. I came up with the name because when I was a kid, all the people around me thought I was doing things that were magic. But it was really about learning quickly, understanding the right tools to use, and then practicing consistently to get good at it to the point where everybody else thought it was magic. So I'm going to give you the shortcut to get there where everybody else thinks it's magic, right? So that's one option, How does that sit with you? Do we like it? Do we not like it? Do we want to continue to explore?
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I mean, it's good to see other options, to see what's be meaningful. But that option is pretty good. Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of one way.
Okay, so now talk to me about why corporate training. Like, why do you care? Who cares? Why'd you get into this?
At the beginning, it was just because I was working as a training manager for companies. And so what happened, just like I was supposed to do only like build packages for the company of trainings. And after a while, they asked me if I could train. And I was just like, okay, I got to learn to train. So I learned to train. And then after, they sent me to train all over the world, to train a sales team. So I did that. And so I work into the corporate world to help the teams to be able to learn, no matter where they were, because I trained people like in Poland, some other in Estonia, some in the US, in Italy and so on, so many different countries. But the idea was more like, okay, so I learn a skill and I try to make the people get the skill pretty fast so they can use it and survive in the domain quite fast. So I learned to do that in the corporate world. But obviously, now it's not only for the corporate people. Now it's for all the people that want to really improve. The idea is like, for me, when let's say a bit of a dream, it would be like to be able to help people just to, first of all, and it's the main thing, believe in themselves. That's the main key issue. And the second step is like, okay, now you've got the belief, you think you can do it, so let's work on the how. And work on the how is a toolkit, tool set, and how we acquire the right how, depending on the job, depending on your personality. And so that's more like this kind of work that I would like to do. But the idea is to be able to make people able to let's say build up their own life and first believe, but then after to reinforce the belief, say like, okay, now I've got the skill that allows me to believe even more. And so because I've got the skill, I test it, it's proven, so let's try to believe again more, and so on and so forth. So create this dynamic of growth, if I can.
And why training instead of, you could have done anything? Why? What do you love about training people?
I think because mainly everything is learnable. I think almost all the skills you can learn, pretty all. If you feel confident enough, I think you can. And why training? I think because it was one way for me to, long time ago, to be able to fight like the belief of being unworthy, not good, not enough. And when I started to learn things, I started to manage to make it, get some, for example, some degrees and so on. I told myself, well, I can do that at least. So I'm not that stupid, so I can do more. And the more I was doing, the more I was learning. you know. And so he went on and on in a very like learning phase, which led me to learn a lot of things at the same time, but also led me to believe that I was able to do things, because if I can learn and if I can practice it and make it doable in a concrete manner, then it means that it's possible. So a best way to share and to give a way for someone that is newbie, for example, in a company, or even like I do that with some students at the university. I just try to give them a tool, make them use it for 1 week, come back after in the next class and say, okay, have you used it? Yes, we have. So what was the result? Oh, we managed to do that. So is this possible? Yeah, it is. So let's go on to the next step. To make people be able to like connect and be able to like believe in themselves more, and to anchor a bit more the belief that they can do it, and to try to just like make them boost and not be stuck, because it's what I experienced myself. I had a self-belief that I was like stupid, not worthy, and not be able to make things happen. And by learning, I discovered that actually there was stuff that I could understand, that I could do, and so that even I could transmit that to people and they could use it. And then the first like surprise, one time I had to train like Polish people. It was very funny, very nice people, by the way. And they just like told me to train them, and they was not be able to speak English or French. And I was just like, okay, how can I do? And I managed to discuss with them with the hands, with some specific words, and train them. And afterwards, what was funny is like the transmission. I thought like, oh, I mean, I did such a bad job. It was very bad. And actually, it did work. And I managed to start make them try some tools. They tried them, they made them possible, and actually they increased their sales by 25% in 1 year. And I was just like, wow, so it worked. And I myself didn't believe it was possible, and they made it happen themselves. I didn't do anything, just give them some tools, and because they had the belief by themselves, they made it happen. And so I told myself, like, that's great. That's a great tool. I mean, things can happen. People, if they want to, if they have the dynamic to do it, then they just like master the skill. They use it and they go. I mean, beyond their own limits. And so that's the reason why I go into training. I know it works. So because it works, I'm happy to see people evolving and believing that, of course, it's like it's a whole process.
You said something at the beginning of that really stuck out for me, which I think could be a good tagline for you, which is everything is learnable. I think that's really good. Like if you just had even your name, whether you want to use the magic or not, everything is learnable. Because what it does is it takes, if you're going to take your two things of, it starts with belief and then it gets to the how. Those are the two things, right? You got to believe that you can learn, and then here's how to learn. Here are the tools, the tactics, the strategy. It brings them both together. Like everything is learnable. You have to believe that everything's learnable, and then you have to have the right how to actually learn the thing that you want to learn. I think that could stick. Like Alberto, everything is learnable.
Yep. Yeah, it is, for sure.
The closest, Marie Forleo just came out with a book that's everything is figure-outable, which is a similar kind of theme, but that's more about resourcefulness, where for you, you're going to actually train them on how to learn. Like, here's how you become a better leader, or here's how you become a better salesperson. And starting with the fact that you believe that they can be a better leader, and you believe that they can be a better salesperson, because you have the story to back it up too. Like, I was the guy who didn't believe in myself, who didn't think I could do that, and then I learned it. Everything is learnable. You can do this too. I like it, man. I like it. I've like that. As soon as you said it, you said it at the beginning. And so I was listening to the rest of your story. I'm like, I hope I don't forget this. I hope I don't forget this. I hope I don't forget this. And I didn't forget it as you were talking. I like it. How does that sit with you?
Yeah, it sounds good. It sounds good. Because I believe it's true. Plus, so yeah, completely.
I would run with it. I would run with it. I would update. Where are you actually creating content right now? Are you making content on Instagram, YouTube?
For the moment, what I've done is like I've done like some small content in Instagram, but it's very like basic, mainly quotes about how to behave and those kind of things, which is like for me more like attitude. But I think it's not what I want to extend. clearly. The idea is to go onto YouTube to do it. And the thing is, I had developed classes for my students about the how to teach, how to learn. Oh, by the way, I've got lots of students that would like to meet you in person. So it's kind of funny. They were like, I started to introduce you, and they said, like, I want to see him, So just like it's a nice thing, and so just like I started by the content. So now I got the content. I almost like finished a book on the how to learn, how to progress fast. And my main idea is now to start on the YouTube channel, and then after do like as you taught us, some splits of the information of the YouTube to the Instagram.
I would play with it. I would play with everything is learnable. I would today, like right after this, update your bio on Instagram to say everything is learnable. And then in your content, start thinking about everything is learnable, which then breaks down into belief and how. So all of your content lives in that area. Everything is learnable. Whatever you want to learn in life, it's learnable. You don't think it is. You may not have learned this in school. You may not have learned this from your parents, but it's all learnable. Whatever you want to do, you can be it. You can learn it. You just need the belief and you need the how. And the belief is very inspirational, motivational, your story, other people's stories, inspiring quotes, that you could end up inspiring somebody to learn how to be a horse jockey or like something that you don't know how to teach them how to do, but just the belief from you gives them the encouragement to do it. And then the how, you have a certain set of skills that you can transfer to other people. So if it's sales or leadership or marketing or whatever, there's a certain, you know how to teach people how to do it, where the belief is more the inspirational side. So having both of those, like your content can be that mix of belief and how, which is part of everything is learnable at the top.
Yeah, that sounds good. Absolutely. Sounds brilliant.
Well, you said it. It were your words. I'm just being the mirror, and putting it back at you. Yeah, I think that could really work out well for you. I think it's interesting content, and speaks to what you want to be known for and be great at, and that ultimately is the brand.
Okay, and what about like the presentation? Do you have an idea of what should be like more present to the presentation of the YouTube main frame?
So like the banner at the top, or what are you talking about?
Yeah, for example,
I would have your face. I would zoom in a little bit more on the face, so it's like headshot, not body, right? So it's like this, not this, right?
Yeah.
And then I would say everything is learnable if you have the right belief and how. And then the content will end up like, you're not going to get people coming to you to learn how to sew a dress, right? I mean, unless you know how to do that, I don't know. But
no, I haven't learned that. I haven't tried.
But everything is learnable, right? So even for me, like believe the people who I attract are in the entrepreneur space or want to be an entrepreneur or already are an entrepreneur. I don't get, like, belief is so big. I don't get, everybody, but the people who want to be entrepreneurs, that's the kind of content that I put up, and that's who I attract. So, everything is learnable with the right beliefs and how. And that's at the top. So then that's what I know you for. So you got your big face and you put the quote, and I would put that as your Instagram bio as well, and Twitter and LinkedIn. LinkedIn is where you need to be doing some LinkedIn stuff for sure if you're selling to the corporate world or professional business world. Yeah, and use the same picture. Your picture's pretty good already. I mean, I would just zoom in a little bit more on the picture.
Okay. No, it was the main question I had in the whole process, and what do you think would be the main skill I should teach at the beginning in the YouTube videos, for example?
So all your content is broken down into two paths, right? The belief and then the how. Mm-hmm. So the belief, you think about one, your who you used to be, plus who you're talking to and who you're. So in your head, before you're making a video, you're thinking, okay, I'm going to go back to 25-year-old Alberto who was scared, who didn't believe in himself, who you pick all the different limiting beliefs that you used to have. I'm not good enough. I didn't go to school for this. Nobody's going to hire me. All of those things, right? And each of those could be different videos that fall under the belief category, right? Don't try to address 18 different beliefs in one video. So one belief per video. So I'm not good enough, right? If that was one of the ones that you said, I'm not good enough. Great.
Yeah.
You make a video just on I'm not good enough. That's a video. And you tell your story, and you tell a story of somebody you've helped without saying specifics, names, and that doesn't matter. But just tell me the story of what happened. Specific, and then another video is a different belief. I don't know. What's another limiting belief that you used to have?
Well, I thought I thought I couldn't belong to a group, belong to a bunch of people. Yeah, for example,
I don't belong. I don't belong here. I don't belong. I'm not good enough. I don't belong. Great. So that's another video. I don't belong. Think about the issues you deal with your clients. So when a client comes to you, you could teach them the how, but if they don't have the belief, they're not going to do anything. So what are some of the belief issues that your clients come to you that you've been already training them? What are some of the issues, right? And you make a list of 20 different limiting beliefs. We've already come up with 2. Now you add, 20. And then each of those are different videos from your own story and from your client stories. Because people can connect to those. That's down the belief stream. The how stream is tactical. Like, hey, if I want to be a better leader, what are the 5 things I need to know? If I want to have more confidence, what are the 3 things I need to do? If I want to be better at organization, what are the 8 tips that you've got for me? It's more tactical in the how-to. You're breaking down how I need to do something. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So your content is that mix. Because if everything is learnable at the top, right? Everything is learnable. You need the belief and you need the how. So your videos are about the belief and the how. So there's 20 different beliefs and there's 20 different hows. That's 40 different pieces of content.
Okay, so you do some videos for the belief, some video for the how.
Yep.
Okay.
And it all filters under everything is learnable. So you're the everything is learnable guy. Yeah.
Okay.
And you make it seem like
good.
magic. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Perfect. For me, that was the main key. And one question is more like the question of the international side, because basically I'm based in France, mm-hmm. and for all the coaching and so on, I'm more like inclined to try to go and train coach people overseas, like in US and so on. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that? What could be is there any limitation? Is there anything that could be problematic in that?
I would try to think about how do I use France as an advantage? Like, what is it about France and or Europe that gives you an advantage over hiring somebody local? I've talked to a lot of different people in leadership and training, and nobody's from France. There aren't. I mean, I don't know anybody who's French, who's a leadership training expert who's targeting the United States. I'm sure there's people, but I've never met them. So you use that as your advantage. So just start to think about what is it about French culture or European culture, because it's not even Europeans. There's nobody from Germany or Italy who's doing this, not on a big scale, not that I know of. So what is it about European and or French culture that makes you the perfect choice to learn from compared to an American?
Okay, that's a question. I mean, there's lots of history of like management or strategy, and even the first like theory about like management, it was a French guy who did it. Just after Ford, for the main content, he described all the what was the definition of management and how to do it. And since then, he hasn't evolved that much. The content is still about the same. So there are some like leaders of industry, or even like some lots of military. Also, they were French, and they use all those concepts. And I mean, in France, we are still quite known for the engineering school, because we're very technical and very good on all what is like plasturgy, or even like plastics, sorry, and all what is like, let's say, specific technological industry also. So they're very like a small scale, but in the detail, they're pretty good. And of course, all the luxury food and so on, that's more like the typical known for French.
Yeah, so most Americans would have a very poor understanding of the outside world. You know, like I'm Canadian, right? So Canadians, we're all from different places. Like my mom was born in Italy, right? So we're international just by default, and we do a lot of trade with the U.S. So most of our economy is tied to the U.S. But the U.S. are terrible exporters, because their economy is so big. They don't have to export. Most companies don't think about exporting. They think about serving the local market. So it's creating the narrative of why France? Like, why do we need to import the knowledge from France? What can you teach me that I didn't know that they have great engineering schools? You know, I didn't know that. Well, I mean, entrepreneur is a French word, right? Entrepreneur. I didn't know that management training started in France. So it's like building up this narrative of why I think even in dealing, I would broaden France to all of Europe. If you're born in Europe, you have to deal with different cultures. You have to deal with different languages. You have to deal with different ways of thinking. You just have to do it. For all the people who are going, like in America, people are going through diversity training. You're just naturally brought up in diversity training. Everybody in Europe speaks 4 different languages, right? I mean, it's just part of the culture. So it's leaning in on that to say, hey, this is what we're great at, and I'm going to teach you how to do it, because learning from an American is not what you need.
Okay, interesting approach. Yeah, it's true that we do learn lots of languages. When there was a question that said, do you speak Spanish? It's like, yeah, we have to learn like several languages. So yeah, we need Spanish too. So yeah, it's an idea, yeah, to use all this like European color.
Just the brand. It's the European brand. Like what a lot of people couldn't tell you the difference between France and Germany and Italy and Spain and Portugal, right? Apart from that, they're different countries and they speak different languages. But if you showed a French house, not like Champs-Élysées or something, but like just a French house, it would look different than an American house, but people couldn't say that that's a French house versus an Italian house versus a Portuguese house. People just don't know in America, right? And same thing. I mean, Canada, I probably wouldn't be able to tell you the difference unless there was a flag outside. But you could tell that's a European house, or that's a European city. So that's the concept. This is how you're different. This is how you stand out and you're unique. And you just need to make the case that you're better. It's like what America needs right now in training is more Europe. That's the case to be made. So that's how you stand out. It's like, hey, all the Americans you're great, but what you really need is to learn from Europe on this because of X, Y, Z.
Yeah, I mean, the example is also because of now there's lots of people that claim the Stoicism, which was built in Europe too.
Yeah, great. Like if they want to learn Stoicism and that's something that you teach or is part of your style, like this is where it was created. Europe is where it was created. We've been doing this since 5 years old.
Always.
Or whatever, right? Right? Like I was born into this, right? So that's how you start to stand out and start to beat the Americans that you're going up against. And some people will hate that message. Some people in America will be like, no, America only, right? We only hire Americans, and they take their pride. Fine. And others will be like, no, we've had too much of the America only. We need to look to outsiders for help. And that's where they'll resonate with your message. Now you stand out instead of just being another leadership trainer, management trainer, right? You're the guy from Europe who's going to come and help.
Okay, that's very interesting.
I would Google, like, what does, just so that you get into their mindset, I would Google and look up, what do Americans think of France and what do Americans think of Europe? And there's going to be a list of like negative things, you know, like the negative, they're like, well, French people are lazy and have too many vacations and the government is so, you know, whatever, right? Like there'll be a list of negatives, great. But there'll be some list of positives too. And what you want to lean in on are the positives to say, here's why you need to hire me, because you're going to learn this. Yeah.
That sounds good. Yeah. Great.
Just like that.
That sounds perfect.
It's like magic.
Yeah. It is. It sounds like it.
Awesome. Thank you, Alberto. We'll talk to you soon, man.
Thank you a lot.
Okay. Much love.
With pleasure. Take care.
Okay.
If you want to see another awesome one-on-one I did with an entrepreneur just like you, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.